on like his daughter. Is that lining up for slaughter? Be time for wounds to cauterize, so we hit heights like my alma mater. This is how it goes. Love is always messy. Gotta confess the best me probably can't see how to be a we when you keep me guessing. I want to stress that this is a bad situation for me. I should break up with you, but I don't wanna, cause got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. You like my body. Well, they say I'm on the rebound. Boy, your name is Ben Wallace. Be like Shaq and dunk it back, cause maybe I'm the tallest. But flawless I am not, so I'm questioning that shot. Like Big Ben shooting free throws. But you're really fucking hot! So what do they know? I'm not wounded just because they say so. Goons will bruise me, sure there's pain, but I always stay on like a volcano. Can we be the same though? Not a simple yes or say no when you're clogged up on this dude like your life needs fucking Drano. It's insane though. He treats you like shit. And you can't quit it. Now I've really stepped in it, cause I've got the feels for you and I should just move the fuck on. But I'm not going to, because got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. And you like my body. And you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. Whatever.
They call me lonely, and I don't know why. I really don't think I'm such a lonely guy.
I've got some problems, but I'm really trying to move on. Yeah, move on. Murder on the beat like Godzilla slaying Tokyo. Just left your girlfriend's sheets. Boomerang Rufio. Hooked her on this beat, Sonic. She was never saying no. Roll 20 on her tabletop, but she got some booty though. Chronic for the ones with positronic brains that wanna laugh and fuck that run but positive. The ones that let you do that catch while positronic. If I'm honest, Betty well will probably still be here the night I leave this cruel demonic world and want me Sonic. Losing brings are worse than me. Like that One Piece Luffy King, I'm out to find that booty, Nami's on it. So what you say out that COVID quarantine? And you're looking good to me. Wanna let me in that Polly Pocket?
And I don't know why. I really don't think I'm such a lonely guy.
I've got some problems, but I'm really trying to move on. Yeah, move on. Fucking trends like I'm a winter soldier. No girlfriend, no Scully to my molder. I'll pull on the Depends fully when I'm older and still get checked like a Goron gets older. Focus Gold Ranger hater, pink trying to domesticate. Masticate, I get it straight, so I ain't gonna masturbate. Swapping ride and sinking low faster than my own self-hate. Think I pull like Ricky Bobby, but I'm bagging Ricky Lake. It's just a journey that I'm on. I fuck a lot, don't tell my mom. I suck at bills cause weed's the bomb, and I like the girls when they get that green on. She did something hard to swallow, leaving me. Borrowed drugs and swine flying over my density. Now I'm back to a future where it's just me in a world of Elizabeth.
Call me lonely, and I don't know why. I really don't think I'm such a lonely guy.
I've got some problems, but I'm really trying to move on. Yeah, move on.
They call me lonely, and I don't know why. I really don't think I'm such a lonely guy.
the economy. Don't call it a recession, cause 1% think it's great and the rest of y'all can lay off. I'm guessing sticking to dick jokes at nearly 40's childhood regression. When the fuck is the payoff? Clearly shorty was a better term than bitches, but when situations got us digging ditches just to pay some bills, we fix it back to burning witches when we should be burning corporations, but we bridges down fixing for pills. But who cares? Cause I can make it still, be the 1%. Ain't that the thrill? That'll fix it all. Let bears and bulls do their will, but it bears repeating. We full ass can't pay our bills still. Gotta keep the hope alive. American dreams for American lives. You forget your woes when I shuck and jive, and if that doesn't work, scroll me on by. The next video make you happy, you're sure this time. Next video make you happy, you're sure this time. Next video make you happy, you're sure this time. The next video make you happy, you're sure this time.
Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit, and you like my body. Sure, we may not be healthy, but we're cuter than a selfie. Pure like romance, market self-pleasuring, multi-level market selling. It's telling how we're always faulty on the shelf, but still be fucking. Fucky knows now Tori spelling. Let's do Polly, Mary Shelley. Frankly, every dime of Ben Science money couldn't buy the kinds of things I feel inside whenever you are by my side. Hell, let's play shell games with our feelings. I'm on your line, just keep on reeling. You might be null, so fake's appealing. Stay in the weeds like Kevin Nealon. Heaven only knows what I would be without you. Feel big love like I'm Bill Paxton, but I'm broke like Brian Wilson. Should I hold on like his daughter? Is that lining up for slaughter? Be time for wounds to cauterize, so we hit heights like my alma mater. This is how it goes. Love is always messy. Gotta confess the best me probably can't see how to be a we when you keep me guessing. I want to stress that this is a bad situation for me. I should break up with you, but I don't wanna, cause got a good fit, and you like my body. Got a good fit.
Well, I am not my much prettier girlfriend, but you should stick around and watch what I'm doing anyways, cause I share some stream accounts with my much prettier girlfriend, but I think if you hang out, you'll find out that I am we share a Twitch account. Twitch.com/dorkspace. She's on it, honestly, most of the time. I'm sorry that I'm not the hottie that you were hoping to find. Pretty hot though, if I say so, just not the hottie you were looking for. But I'm playing every game on the Nintendo 64 and every Final Fantasy game that's come before. So please stay and watch me, por favor. I can't do this song anymore.
Hello, hi, hello. Sorry, I heard what Addo said and it made me laugh a lot. Addo, grandson first, Addo. Who else said, the fun fact, Bussi in German means kiss. So I've been hearing a 1.5-year-old repeatedly say pussy all week. It sounds all kinds of weird and funny. That's amazing. That's, I think, my favorite thing that the kids gave us is the term pussy. Gotta start with that. Yeah. Good morning, Addo. Good morning, Sam. You see, still like the raps. I'm glad they're all sitting on hard drives. I gotta get more of them in there because it's just like, what else am I gonna do with them? Right? They can sit as like little weird songs. Hi. So I gotta pull up apps, because we're at the point now we need to start doing honest to God runs, and maybe we beat this game today. I don't know. Let's we need any guess.
Alright, so... Oh yeah, Aid Port. Helps with actual... like ASCII art ones. The more highly detailed ones don't help us as much because they're neat. Yeah, they give me this old ASCII. The old school GameFAQs ASCII art is where it's at. Weirdly enough, because it's easiest. Maybe it's just easiest for my brain to read. But we can like kind of instantly look and then like, okay, cool, we're doing this. What is up, noble Welsh Knight? Hello. Tired but vibing is kind of it. I've not gotten good sleep all this week. Been not by design. It's kind of just how things have worked out. It's been a big week of like either kids or cat. Honestly, it's one of those rough things where it's like I probably would be sleeping fine because it takes a lot to wake me up. But it's the kids, cats, and everything keep waking Sina up. That's enough to wake me up because as she's getting in and out of bed and out of bed, I'm then like, oh man, why am I waking up so much? And it's that tough thing as a partner, which is like I'm not getting good sleep, and want to have feelings about that, especially at my sleepiest and just waking upness. But in all reality, she's getting much worse sleep because she's awake, and I'm the one stirring awake over. So I'm getting bad sleep, and she's getting no sleep. So, which I would say leading into like tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't Hollow Knight in the morning, because that's been. I think it's just that thing that, you know, our youngest is crossing the threshold into teenagerdom and is kind of just that summer life of just like, I'm just gonna be up all night, and is fine. We're allowed to do that as a... Sorry, we might, before we go on this run, need to... He has like no MP. I thought we stayed at an inn, but apparently we just like left. So we need to inn up before we make a run here. Sam says, I literally get out of bed if I can't sleep. Me tossing and keep peeking up. Yeah, I do the same. Like if I'm like awake and can't sleep, I just move out. And if anything, I'll try to like fall back asleep out there. But then when I do, she's like, why'd you sleep out there? I'm just like, cause I didn't want a podcast blaring at you. I says, yeah, I was out of town this weekend. Was supposed to be back tomorrow, but shitty weather. Also, I'm not drunk. My keyboard just finds itself fine. Was it fun out of town traveling? Were you back over here so we could wave across the lake at each other? Nato comes to the States. We're nowhere near each other at all. But it's close enough that we can make jokes. Big giant lake between us. No one's traveling to the States right now, Jeffrey. Yeah, I don't blame them. I will say though, that on that note, South Park had their new episode back last night. And I'm not a South Park guy. I haven't been since I was like 15, 16, whatever.
And them kind of in the wake of Colbert getting fired, them like going through and like pushing Paramount to sign a 1.5 billion deal with them because they were like, hey, we will yank our brand new episode that's supposed to come out this week, and we'll go to Comic-Con and talk about how shitty you are the whole week, and kind of force them to make this deal for $1.5 billion, and then released an episode last night shitting all over them and all over Trump. And every clip I see of it, I'm just like, oh my gosh. It's kind of amazing. As I said, it was safe for the rain. We went to Mountain City here, so it's a tropical rainforest in the 60s, 70s for temp. Nice. I appreciate that these guys are just as nasty in this game as they are in future games. Like, with all the status effects. Like, it's kind of amazing that that's like the uniform of like, and they look, the character design is pretty similar. I love that it's just kind of carried through of just like, no, they're these big monstrous plant things, and they're gonna really fuck you up. Bad Breath of the, yeah, it's pretty rough. Or generational trauma, apparently. Got him though. Beat Lion King, congrats. I wasn't able to tune in yet. I feel so bad, like, I can't, and it's interesting because my new, like, cheap phone service is unlimited, but as soon as I, like, start taxing it the ways only I would tax things, I'm sure if I was going from Wi-Fi hotspot to Wi-Fi hotspot, it would be fine, but it's very just like, what are you doing? And, you know, and I wanted to be like, Ryan Reynolds, I'm trying, man. Please don't slow down my internet. Yes, can, I don't know. No longer say you're a bad gamer now. Oh, yeah, that's something good or not mutually exclusive. But yes. I think life is a lot more rich. I don't even know that that's life. It's vegetarian. And I'm probably on the verge of, like, getting good internet at the shop again. Eventually, the right thing comes along. Whereas the problem is, so the fiber that we have here is just so significantly cheaper than anything Comcast does in this area, and so much better, that I'm just waiting for it to be installed downtown. And they've been utilizing, I think, government grant money and stuff to get fiber installed out in residential, but obviously our current administration here in Michigan, which is very left-leaning, is very much more poised toward individual businesses, and so that money doesn't exist much to get and incur, like so down where the shop is at, we're still forced into the, like, horrible world where we have to decide between basically absolutely terrible internet that's probably not worth paying for at all, or internet from Comcast that like so expensive. So, and it always starts out like not expensive. Like it always starts off like, oh cool, like we'll get you all set up, and it's gonna be like $100 a month, and then it creeps to $150, and then it creeps to like by the end there we were paying like $250 just to keep internet on at the shop, and it made sense when our stream everything, but it just gets to a point it's like Edda says my parents can't fiber since there's too few people in area for it, so they're looking into Skylink, and I keep trying to persuade them to go elsewhere. That's the thing, is that's the way it would be here. You just in Michigan have had a pretty good governor for the last 8 years. I'm a little worried because gonna turn next year. I don't know who's gonna run. I love how I was like coming in today like, hey, we can start making like serious runs because we're like been going into this dungeon and like nothing really has been happening, so we can start making serious runs. Like we're getting fucked up. Oh, I mean, if we bail, we are gonna be leveling up, which is nice. Well, if you're right, then I'm not deaf. Jack, back me up in this. What am I? X? Stubbornness. Stubborn and good aren't mutually I've lost track of the conversation. If backing up isn't gonna change the fact. Are we still arguing about Sam being a good gamer or not? I will say that I think that stubbornness does equal good quite often in life. I think that like so much of what is quote unquote good is like skills that are gained through perseverance and like doing something over and over and over and over again to get good at things. And the fact that a lot of people would walk away from, and if it's because of charity or whatever else, a lot of people walk away from that game. And I do think it's a thing. That's like saying someone who climbs Mount Everest, not a good like rock climber, mountain climber. They're just like, I'm just stubborn, and it's just like, no, that's what makes you. That is a quality that can make you good at climbing mountains, though. As they still beat a game that is often one of the hardest ever to beat. Yeah. Not to mention all the like randomizers and everything else Sam does, which is crazy. But like I would say I am someone who is like not naturally very good at video games, but I also possess the more stubborn quality. And so like, and it's interesting because I think Selena is someone who is like naturally way more talented at video games than I am. Like her ability to just play things well differ. Way outmatches. It's crazy. That said, with that, like she, her stubborn quality is at like a 0. Her ability to replay something that she can't do well the first time is almost non-existent, and we have to do things like she will just bail on the activity rather than going. So Sam says the other mountain climbers didn't use level selector invulnerability when chat voted on it without me asking because it felt bad for me. You just started running. I will grant that. And I would say that maybe the Lion King game is not the best example of actually, Sam, you are a good gamer, because there was a lot of there's a lot of asterisks on the word beat, and I beat Lion King there. Not to say that it's not still a feat, because it still is, but like there is qualifications. All right, I need how to get. All the way down, right as far as I can go. Also, the vulnerability doesn't mean you can't die. Yeah. I think you're somewhere in the middle of Lena and I. I think you have you're like 50%, like you have more natural ability than I do. But not as much as Selena, which is annoying. It's because, especially because her stubbornness is 0. Like her ability to just like we fired up. She had like not played any Souls games, and we fired up Elden Ring. It was like one of the first things we ever streamed together. And we were gonna be like, ha ha ha, my boyfriend made me play Elden Ring. That was the whole gimmick, you know, and it was just like this silly thing. And I was like coming in, and I was, you know, like, I'm not an Elden Ring expert by any stretch, but like, we'll run this as the gimmick, because you're, you know, I'm here to guide you through basically your first Souls experience. I think all she had done otherwise is someone had like, got her to play Bloodborne, but like just kind of like walked through and killed everything for her, you know, and so she played multiplayer Bloodborne, but not really, and that was kind of her experience with Souls games. And so I really expected going into that is like, okay, well, and man, did she just like really stumble through so much of that for. Okay, that was really convenient. She really did stumble around in really funny ways, and it was like, ha ha ha. But then she literally tumbled into the first boss battle in that game, and it was like, ha 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 ha, because she was like running away from something else and ran right into a boss arena. And it was like, oh my god, like it. And then she just beat it. First try on a Souls boss. and like it's also, it's one of the, you know, it's Elden Ring's first boss is not like other first Souls bosses, right? It's not. But still, the fact that like she could just like start reading moves, start doing it, it's insane. And it's especially insane given the fact that like she doesn't have the like stick-to-itiveness. It was like as soon as she started hitting walls in that game, she was like, this. Sam said, I will say Lion King was very solid proof of how much I've grown as a person. I didn't get tilted at all during the hundreds and hundreds of deaths. I'm a lot more patient now. Lena is literally a gaming god. She just hasn't figured it out. It's true. It's maddening. There are so many aspects of life where my interactions with Lena feel like that scene in Good Will Hunting where he's just like ripping up the proofs and he's like, do you know how, I'm bored, do you know how easy this is for me? And the guy's just like, the professor's like, ah! That says, I wish I had that talent. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, this is the waterfall. We got this. We got this, guys. Maybe we don't. And she's like lost crazy MP. Don't think she must have gotten hit. That's the rough thing to watch for. Like those are the kinds of things. Like these guys train MP. Things like these lizards. I hope I remember to buy another elixir. I can't remember if I did or not. That'll really hamper our ability. I want to at least get to second dungeon. Okay. Like that'll feel like progress. If I can do a cleanish run through this one, make it in. That'll set us up. We'll start carving the route in our how to get through. Basically have to make it through 2 straight dungeons. Make it to a final boss. I think if we were still doing the hour stretches of playing instead of 2, we'd easily make it to the end, you know, by next week. I think it's gonna be it's a tough call, and so much of it's based on RNG too. Like it's like how much are we running into shenanigans? Sam says he believes in me. I appreciate it. Sam says, oh Jeff, I'm nearing a randomizer on the VOD channel. You might actually. I miss watching VODs. That's the other thing is I used to sit and watch Sam and Cheeky VODs like constantly. Now I just podcasts. Fine, because I used to do a lot of listening to podcasts too. Super Mario World randomizer race with Jeff is coming up in about 10. That's awesome. Races are such a cool, neat idea. I also love the are they stealing my spells? What? That's a thing they can do? Do I still have them? Do I have them after this battle? Okay. I think he's... Okay, we still have our spells. That would be... they just steal them to be able to use. That's still crazy, but like, can you imagine? Like, I wouldn't put it past this game to be like, oh, and you lost your level up spell. Yeah, my Super Mario World is less stressful than Zelda. Hollow Knight few, I think. Just shuffles level order and swaps enemies for the most part. Like a cheap might be where that's nice. I said, ooh, Final Fantasy VI race at some point. That would be great. I think you could probably understand my issue with randomizers is that I don't feel like I experience original games enough to like be like, oh, and also I want to spend time playing a random. Seasoned heavily. As says, yeah, even with my love and knowledge of 6, it was still an adjustment for me. Yeah, I don't. I'm really looking forward to playing through 6 because that's like one of my biggest weird like I was both obsessed with that game as a kid and I just never finished it. I would get to the continent part. Well, the first time I like obsessively played, I hit like a wall. Is like that Ultros fight with the raft. They put a save point right before, and if you're a dumb kid who just keeps saving on the same spot over again, then you're gonna, fortunately, gonna like blaze right into becoming completely locked right there, because you can be not in the position to beat that fight at all, not have the items, not have the experience, save, and you're literally on a raft. You can't go backward, so stuck with beat that fight or done. And if you're not in a position for that fight, you're just so that was the first time I played that game. Then I switched to 5 and I beat 5. It was the first Final Fantasy game I beat. And then I played some other games and I went back to it and I got up to the flying island or flying continent part, and it was just one of those, I had no eye drops and I had no way of going back and getting eye drops, and I was in rough shape, and like, okay, I guess I have to abandon this run too. So that's the other thing I'm worried about trying to race Final Fantasy. As said, oh yeah, I've done that too. Sam said my entire JRPG playstyle is trying to godhood. I'd struggle to figure out the safe low stat approach to go fast. That is interesting, is that, yes, that is consistently your approach. And there's nothing wrong with that approach by any stretch of the but I do find it be very much different in that, because I'm often in the like, how do I with the exception of like at very end of game, because I usually want to see all the extra stuff, and I know once I beat the final boss that my brain is like, game done. So I often go into the final boss way over leveled, but I usually have a habit of going into lots of other battles completely under level. Kind of my shtick, but not as bad as Echo, who comes and hangs out here sometimes. Like when we were growing up together, he would make me so nervous playing games. And he very famously had a PlayStation 1 that lacked the ability to save to a memory card. And we would still play games on it. And so it was like, he would be playing Final Fantasy VIII and you couldn't save, and and he would still be reckless. Was that the FF8 PlayStation? Yeah. Yep. And we would be in battles all the time, and I'd be like, I would use a Phoenix down. He's like, I'm not gonna, we're going for it. And I'm like, ah! Alright, so we've leveled at this point Ultima up as much as we've leveled up Fire. You have to run some real experiments. I don't know that it's all that. I do like that we've leveled it up that much. Like we've accomplished it. But did it work out? I mean, it did. Very famously, that dude who you know,
his PlayStation didn't save, and we would sit and we would play, and all those things would move out, and very famously our FF8 run ended not from that, but when it just froze up. But in some ways he was like kind of a proto speedrunner and stuff, because he would like sit and like his favorite games were the Resident Evil games, and he would sit and play like Resident Evil 1 over and over and over again, and couldn't save. So he would just, every time he fired it up, he was basically starting Resident Evil from the jump, and then would just like play through it as long as he could get through, and then would like do the like kind of like pause and turn DRT off thing. But his mom and stepdad would still come in the room and shut his PlayStation off, like every parent does. Like, why is this on? You know, like, and he would just like, he was so good at he would fire up the PS1, fire up Resident Evil, and he would just be cooking through it and just blazing through the first like 3 or 4 hours of that game, and he just knew where everything was. And it's very interesting that he didn't turn into a speedrunner, because I know he had like everybody who wanders in here, he had an era of being a streamer, and I don't think it involved that at all, though. Like, I think he was just doing other stuff. But Sam says, speaking of speedruns, I've been debating learning Hollow Knight routes. I think that makes a lot of sense. You really love that game. I think you should start doing the Vince thing too, where you just hang out and like look around for like first time Hollow Knight streams and just hang out and coach, because it's always fun. I don't know if I do it competitively at all, but I think it would help me learn bosses a bit better. Alright. We just got through the waterfall, so we're on the fourth of 6 floors of this dungeon. A fairly straight route to the next one. We've been 1 floor down from the once. Maybe making that a goal for charity stream. I think you should just do it. I mean, you can make it a goal if you want to, just to... I mean, because any of the goals should be things that you want to do and would have fun doing. But, like, if you... I have a blast, too. And you would be the kind of person that you wouldn't... I don't think you would need
competitive at all with anyone other than. I think you would really enjoy going like, I bet I could do faster. I bet I could shave off a little in here if I did this or did. And then I really enjoyed like Vince's runs of as much as like he was giving himself asterisks and stuff for it. But I really enjoyed his runs on Silent Hill 2 where he would be like, hey, what's neat is that like nobody is getting these records on PS2 natural. So like I can go and do that, and he would always give himself asterisks for that sort of thing. But it was, to me, it's neat that like he's world record holder and stuff, and that it kind of pushed other people to like, maybe I should get actual PS2 hardware. I wouldn't place that high. Hollow Knight is a very popular speed game, and the top runner runs lucky to land in the top 100. Yeah. Your skull, do speedrun, accidentally place 20. Yeah. I think it would be fun. But I said not paying attention to yeah, right? Like, it's, you never know till you try. Like, you've never tried to do a clean speed. You've done some no-hit runs of, but for all you know, it could go. You don't know. I have that elixir. Actually, might not be able to. I do. And you literally every inch of me. That might be all. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Problem is, we need the softs. Not much. Okay. That's good to know. Got it clear. So, he has to be the one to get us out of here. I'm gonna keep me this. You have to keep. Is he really weak? Jeff is that option, but he had all of his MP piped in like the first battle we walked in. So, have to keep an eye on it. Like, we probably be able to poke our head into you and the shells. It's so funny that after like 3 straight weeks, like speed runs, just like, I guess we can just go for it. We're having like the messiest run through. But maybe we're getting it done. We have to start setting them up. Yeah, get across. They said we've made it to this screen. After. I would break a controller if I was going for hitless. Oh, it's deathless. Sorry, yeah. That is the same. Do you know how much I believe and support you? gosh, why is he almost dead? Guys hit so hard. I think it's hard to break down. I think the problem, Sam, is that you want to say you're bad at games, which is a very binary statement. And that in that is where the struggle lies, because objectively, there's enough evidence to stack up to refute the claim that you are bad at games, if we're looking at it entirely binarily. I can line up an argument. Not think I know you are good at games. Maybe he's good at games. Maybe that's the problem, is we think he's good at games, but he's bad at games. There's more evidence of the bad comp. I don't. It's all subjective. Like, say that, but like maybe reality, like someone else, like you are so many notches of them, i.e. me, because I'm very bad at games. It's funny because it's like we've been playing a lot of chess, and that itself has like brought a lot of this out in ways, because like I beat Melina pretty handily the first go, and then it turned like her wanting to like play again, and it's like you're inevitably going to be someone who beat me, but it's like my ability, it's why I'm so bad at like tactical RPGs. Like I can sit and I can certainly sit and think he moves ahead in ways that other people can't, but like I will completely become oblivious to the person who's going to come to sit by the side that everybody else would see. So it's like I can see things on a chessboard that other people never see, but I miss like the obvious threat coming every time. What is happening with game? Every gamer, Adam says every gamer has a lot in the bad column. Hell, gaming is like baseball. Best hitters fail 2/3 of the time. Yeah, I would kind of look at it that way. If this pro gamer, I don't know if gams or something, if this implies something bad, I'm sorry. And then Adam said, gam is a very old way to say women's legs. Okay. There's me, I don't even hear the chess part. Jeff, your noise gate is cutting out a teeny bit around the edges of your softer words. Okay, I'll turn my mic up a little bit. Silly noise gate. You need them though with the air conditioners, but yeah, you have the problems. Yeah, health-wise. Trying to be a little more conservative with resources. I would like to see the next dungeon. Wait, didn't we get to it and then we didn't know how to continue? We did. It says be teleported. To go through the goal, you will be teleported to the next and final dungeon. Jeff out here having a very deep talk about chess and tactile RPGs, his personal strengths and weaknesses, and me and Edo are going on about games and demons. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, sorry, I just had like a whole conversation I wanted to launch into that I was like, that's not a public forum conversation, Jeffrey, and then I had to shut my brain down. But then my brain was just like, no, say those things out loud. And it's like, no, that's it's only vaguely related too. So, but those are more personal conversations, Jeffrey, and not for public forums that are archived on YouTube. Try to make it more wild, yeah. Immer Call Talks, got it. Yeah, exactly. It's not even like crazy. It's just I'm trying to be better about things that just slip out of my mouth. Okay. Dagron. Fed a gold star, you wanna give me that instead? I have this. I mean, that's pretty amazing. It looks like a Furby being microwaved. Addo says, real talk, it's a skill that takes practice to talk about yourself without ever talking about yourself. I think the harder thing for me is never that, because I mean this to much to Sam's chagrin. I don't care about that aspect of it, never have. And probably never will. I grew up with my life in, like, I grew up like with like a weird, like, almost celebrity status being a pastor kid. Well, you would know, you have PK thing too. As a pastor's kid, I grew up as like a minor celebrity with less rights to privacy than others, and you know, whatever I said and did had the possibility of coming out at the pulpit all the time. Through angles that may or may not have been how it was. And the thing that I'm trying to get better at is not just like, it is to like not repeat that cycle. And it's hard. It is so hard. And it's especially harder as my kids get older and become their own people and are navigating their stuff, because it's like that stuff that I could give speak in two hand. That's the case. Ooh. If that does what I think it does, that's pretty game-changing. Anyways, the thing that I'm trying to get better at, is my ability to, you know, talk about things still that are my experiences, but not take away from, like, things that, like, you know. Oh, it doesn't. I was really excited there that it was gonna do the thing where it just healed everyone for no MP. That would have been so game-changing. I can maybe try to swap them and see if it's just a handed thing. Like, maybe it needs to be in my... I don't know why it would work that way, though. says, oh, I was PK and a child cancer survivor. I was definitely a celeb in my hometown, so I get that. I'd be very open about stuff, but then had friends burn me with it, so I learned how to speak without speaking. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, and I'm trying to be a better parent and a better partner, and it's tough though, because it's like genuinely the challenges that my children are throwing into my path are genuinely my challenges, right? The things that the conversations you navigate as a partner are genuinely like your struggles and things to navigate, right? But like that doesn't mean it's entirely yours to share that stuff, and that's always been hard for me because I am someone who is an external processor too, where I say things out loud, and sometimes the things that I say, it's why I will always be a very easily cancelable person too, because it's like the things I say out loud also are things that like often like I might not even agree with them 2 seconds later, but I have to say them out loud and weigh them and have people go like, that's messed up, dude, and then I go like, oh yeah, that is messed up, but that's always been how I've thought through things. And that's not convenient for a world with microphones and things. If says everyone is cancelable. Yes. Hey, we made it to the final dungeon. Entered Pandemonium. So we have some choices at this point. Because we probably need to leave, but maybe we do some recon. Usually whenever we say that though, we die almost immediately. This music rules. Very cool. Sorry, I'm trying to find the handy dandy ASCII map of this one. Oh boy. Okay. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 screens to this final dungeon that you have to get through all the screens of the first dungeon to get to. And the best sword in the game is in a chest in here, but it is not. I guess that kind of becomes maybe our quest, but I don't think we're doing it this run. It's on... Wait. Maybe that's our quest, but I don't think we have the resources to get there. Let's tip a toe in. I love this song. It reminds me of Wonder Boy music. It's very good. The way I almost fell down a Wonder Boy rabbit hole. Black Mantis. It does, interestingly enough, it does seem like the dungeon difficulty reset a little bit. Maybe not. What up, Silver Golem? But the fact that we're facing, like... I read that as Spy Mantis, like LGBTQ. Okay. He's got a lot of HP. Yeah, I don't know that the Ultima spell's really all that. It's not really, carrying us well. If fire at a similar level. Although it did say, like, hey, you should probably get these things up to, like, level 12 by this point, and we're on, like, level problem. All these cross... No. I think that would have been listed on this. We have to go all the way around. I guess that's stupid. Whoa. Aren't these guys a boss battle in one of the games? Not this one and the last one? Seems like. Dead now. No, charm is not good. No me gusta charm. This is a long walk. It really looked like you could kind of cruise through those doors, and you cannot. Oh, this is cool. So these are the guys that murder you at the very start of the game. If one remembers back that far. How we lost Sam for so long. And now we can handle them quite handily. That's always neat. It's always a neat narrative thing. I'll take an ether. Then I'll use that ether. That does too much, but still helpful. I should have given it to Jeff. That would have been more game-changing. I had that versatility back, but you know what? I didn't do that. That's not the choice that I made. Speaking of parenting, I had one of the like more difficult conversations with one of my kids yesterday, which was one of those like I was trying to give them advice on something they were navigating, and it was one of those like, if you would just say, yeah, that makes sense, I just don't want to do it that way, this conversation would be over. But they kept like being like, no, this doesn't make sense for these reasons. It was like, you just don't want to do it. It's fine. Like, this is your life to drive. But for the love of God, what I'm saying is the correct way that you should be thinking about it and should be handling it. And I'm saying from experience, take it from a reformed fuck up. Like, you should be handling it this way, so you give yourself the littlest chance to mess all this up. And it's okay to say like, yeah, that makes sense, but I don't want to. And I would have been like, fair. But they were just like, well, this is why it doesn't make sense to do that in this mature way. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna let you sit there and like argue that. It's important to mess up and learn in life. Yeah. Well, that's usually the biggest like breakdown in like between my ex and I with co-parenting is I'm very much in the like let them make mistakes and figure it out category. Oh, cool, we paralyzed someone. Neat. All right. We paralyzed multiple people. Neat. Back. Hi, back. I'm Sam. / dad. Did I do the joke right? I sent you all the music for my rabbit hole. Oh, nice. I'm looking forward to it. Sam is dead. Sorry, Sam. I let you die. I didn't mean to. It happened. Just like in real life. Alright, we did it. Oh my gosh. The amount of... I'm not grabbing that. The amount of people that trash this game. I remember, which I like cut together a bunch of them for the start of my YouTube video, and one person, I don't think I put in the video, but they're like, this game should be left like the way a party member's left when they're dead. Ha 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 ha. Like, man, people love to trash on this game. This game's good. Good game. Yeah, sent you Pandemonium Famicom and Pixel Remastered, as well as the final dungeon from Wonder Boy Master System Remake. Like the key meter and Parts of the Melody are really similar vibes. Awesome. I'm very excited to explore that later. It's sometimes probably about a quarter to 50% of the things I send Cheeky on TikTok are just things that I'm like, sometimes I expressly say, like, please show this to Sam, and sometimes I'm like, she'll probably show this to Sam. Like, I sent her... It's the Simpsons scene of Marge Simpson being like, I'll crunk with you, honey, and then Marge Simpson starts dancing, but someone cut it with Marge doing that, like, I'll crunk with you, honey, with DK, and it's just the do do. They're both dancing, and it just brings me joy. I was like, Sam will appreciate that, and so I just sent it to Shiki with no context, assuming she'd show it to you. Shiki doesn't really show me TikToks unless you ask. Okay. I will remember to more expressly ask. Oh, the back row. Nick says, bleep, bleep, bloop, bloop goes the FF2. How goes? It goes. We're in the end game now. We're not gonna be eating this game today, but we are in the end game. I think actually, here's what I'll say. I think we have so much money that if we load up on elixirs and revives, if we take this entire shitty inventory system, we clean out everything to make as many spaces as we can, and then if we fill the spaces that are left with elixirs, which we might be able to, despite how expensive they are, we might be able to do, I think we have this. Granted, I've not really seen what's on other floors. Like, we're already starting to run into, like, we're dying now. And I don't know that it's a very clean run. But, Sam says, I think to date, FF2 Pandemonium has one of my top 5 worst RNG rolls of the entire series. Snoopy says, okay, so I finally got my first man's grill. I'm working on seasoning the grate so I can cook on it later. My work today is lazily so things on my work computer and wait for the UPS to show up with my new work computer that actually works properly. So seasoning the new grill makes sense. Exactly. That's so amazing. Pandemonium is the dungeon I'm in right now, Nyx. Grills are great. I've not used mine very much this year. It's not been 0, but it's not as much as years past. Goodness. You know, we might be cooked here just based on the fact that I got to move a guy forward. I had one fight with enemies I could easily kill, but one turn stunned my entire party and they just full wiped. I cleared them out fine next time I hit that encounter. It's just a shit RNG roll. I mean, this isn't going well, but part of it is that I forgot to, you know, move my guys forward. But he can't hit. Apparently he can be hit. And fire did so much more damage than Ultima, which is silly. Okay. Well, I mean, it did level up a bit. Yeah, like these, I can heal these guys up, but it's gonna just churn through so much of my MP reserves. But if I had, you know, another, like, I had a bunch of elixirs lined up, that wouldn't really matter. and you have to kind of use elixirs because the ethers are kind of shit in this game. Pandemonium is probably top 5 favorite Final Fantasy Final Fantasy Final Dungeon is a hard thing to say. I do like the music. Yeah, she's gonna be... Oh. We're gonna basically tap out. We're close to it here. Just we need to... He needs to be able to do just the functional thing she needs to be able to do with MP, which means she's not gonna be able to do any kind of attacking. Oh! Didn't even make it to the... No, we're on the second screen. Can you imagine if I would have forgotten to move everybody up? Because I was like, oh yeah, I still have to move Sam up. I didn't even think about the fact that so many other people died there. Stevie says, for my first real grill, I'm pretty excited about it. Now I need to figure out what I'm going to make on it to break it in. Might just do some burgers. Yeah, don't start with the steak. Start with burgers and hot dogs. Because it's like, even if you... Every grill is different. And like... Kind of like how on a first date... You're not jumping straight into like Olympic level porn level sex, right? Like, like if anything, you're having a good night kiss on the porch, right? It's your first day with your grill. Make the easiest thing. Because like even if you fuck up hamburgers and hot dogs, they're still pretty edible. Oh my gosh, speaking of grilling, and how just like incredibly kind my landlord at the shop is, which people love hearing stories. I don't know what you're talking about. Do you remember how my kid was? Yeah. People love hearing stories about how nice my landlord is. It was crazy. He did a cookout yesterday. And everything was ready at like 11, and I went back there and got food. And I was like, and he was like, oh, is Lena and the kids coming? Except he calls Lena Nina. Are Nina and the kids coming? I was like, yeah, the kids got summer school though, so you know, not getting out to like 11:30, and then they'll be here sometime after that. And that was the plan. But also, Selena is Selena, and I don't think he showed up there with the kids till like 12:30, 12:45, which is classic Selena. Predicting when she's going to show up somewhere is just like it's incredibly organically talented at so many things, but the clock does not exist for her, which is fine. It's not like there was like a scheduled thing, but it was just like people are like, when will she be here? And then he wasn't. It's a hard thing to predict. Even if you're like, hey, be here at this specific time, good luck. And it's just who she is. But, so there was that. And then by the time they showed up, there was just like no food left because the food was done at like 11. And usually there's so much food and so much leftover food, but there just wasn't. They had gotten there too late. Which is fine. It's like a cookout. She showed up hours later, the kids showed up hours later. It's whatever. The kids weren't like mad or anything, and she wasn't mad or anything. It was just like, oh, we showed up and there wasn't food. He wasn't even in the room at the time. But then like an hour or two later, the dude just like walked into our sorry, this doesn't match up with this screen at all. Sorry, I'm looking at the map and then it's not mapping. He showed up like an hour or two later with like one of those like 12 taco cartons from Taco Bell. Be like, oh, I'm so sorry you guys didn't have food. Here's this. And it was like, buddy, you're fine. We don't, like, you didn't have to show up with tacos. Like, that wasn't the, like, you were already giving free food that we didn't show up for. You didn't have to then give us more free food because we were too late for the free food. Like, what are you doing? It's fine. But he's just that guy. He's just like, I felt so bad there's no food for you guys. I went through Taco Bell and I got one of those like 12 taco things. Here you guys go. It was already free, but what are you doing? My whole goal of life is to be him when I grow up. Nick says, I fucked up a hot dog so bad yesterday, I didn't feel like cooking, so I tossed a couple in the microwave, nuked the living hell out of them, so I tossed one and gave the other to my dog. Ugh. Yeah, I guess you can fuck them up microwaving them. It is like, but it's hard to fuck them up on the grill. I forgot, she cannot do any kind of offensive magic. She's gonna have to do this. I mean, they're already cooked. Sure. No, see, I was really worried about these guys. These guys looked scary. They're probably like most things in this dungeon, if I let them get me, can do some nasty stuff. Yeah, so the pertinent question now that we're out of elixirs is like, can we, we're for sure not making it through this dungeon completely, but can we manage to somehow limp our way up a couple more screens, get the best sword in the game? And by a couple more, I mean 1, 2, and all the way through a third. I don't think that's happening. I think this will be a nice little valiant little first go of it. You know, what we've learned is she could use more MP. Oh, we keep accidentally going back up that way. That's what we keep doing. We need to go up there. And then fights like this just have the potential to be so nasty. Leveling in this game is horrible. I mean, it's really grown on me, and there's ways to just absolutely break it. We just haven't been doing that in a while. And weirdly enough, like, I do think this game like corrects for that. As much as people are like, oh my god, this is the game where you just hit yourself and then do this and then do this thing. I think if you were to play it that way completely and not do some of the other like the biggest exploit is that swap spell, like, just completely breaks leveling in this, right? But like at the point that you would kind of organically get access to it, you get a kind of little window to exploit it in the most exploitable way, and then shortly after that the game takes away all the like first level like enemies. So it's I don't know. It's interesting. Interesting to me, like, I don't think the thing about the leveling in this game is it is a learning curve. And that's what makes it hard. More so than like the actual it says, I love this leveling system, albeit the Pixel Remaster is a bit more polished, but I love dual wielding shields to boost their proficiency fast. Yeah, I love the silly gamey nature of a lot of it. Is a lot of fun to me. He's just gonna do that. We're gonna bail after this fight because I don't want to risk anything else we may or may not be dealing with. I got translated ROM of this years before an official port of this game ever came out. It was the most confusing thing coming off of FF1 with no context as to how this worked. The only thought I had the whole time I played was why? I mean, the why is that the first game, they basically are just stealing everything from like existing stuff, mainly D&D. They're just like stealing from D&D wholesale. And then this is the game that they're like, what if we did our own stuff? And most of it works and becomes what Final Fantasy is for the rest of the series. The one thing that doesn't quote unquote work is the leveling system. But in some ways they still utilize things like it for the rest of the series. They just pretty much, with a few exceptions, stick to the hard concept of levels. They don't take that away again until they start taking it away again around like 10. And even 10 like has like the levels, but or does it? No, it's just, do you have levels in 10 or is it just a sphere grid? I can't remember. Nick says, I've played games where you gain proficiency and skills by using them, defense when you get hurt, etc. Except this game, that doesn't work. You have to do the stance to get your skills up. This is just a grid, no levels. Yeah, so it's like, by the time they're at 10, they're dropping that concept again. So it's like to say this game is not very Final Fantasy always throws me off, because it very much is. It's just and so much of like what becomes staples in the series start in this game. But yeah, they basically, the first game, I mean, this comes out a day short of a year after the first game does. So they get the first game out, they get greenlit to make a second game, and they just like, they really much wanted to try to make this game its own thing, though. They tried to kind of like be, you know, even like things, it's crazy to think about, but the fact that, and it's such a defining thing for the series, but the fact that this game does not start with like the next adventure of the Light Warriors from the first game is itself like a very cool thing. Okay. You would like to buy all the elixirs. Can't carry any. Okay, so we need softs. I do not need this. Okay, we're gonna start selling some stuff. Nick says, so I assume you play this like any other game. You fight your fights and move through the content in the way you would naturally play a game. How well would you do? Actually fairly okay. Because the way that this leveling, it's not perfect, but the way that this leveling system works is that although it seems like you would just be like screwed, a lot of the stuff slingshots. So a lot of the stuff that feels like it's not leveling up, once you hit certain points, so like the MP doesn't seem to level up as cleanly, but like once you get to like the point where your spells cost more to cast, then it's gonna slingshot, and then you're gonna gain a bunch of MP real fast. So it's like has like a built-in. You're stealing the car for. Oh, okay. Okay, love you. Sorry, she was letting me know she's stealing the car, but that she'd be back. That we're basically going to here's our strategy for beating this game. We're gonna sell everything. We're gonna buy a bunch of. We're gonna keep some softs. We're gonna keep some revives because we have to revive our spellcaster if she dies, right? We're gonna sell the tent because we have no need for the tent. We're gonna sell Lizard. We're gonna sell this. I don't think so. Like, I don't think we could sell the Extol Rod. So this is the problem with this game: is any key item takes up an inventory slot and then cannot be sold. So then you just have like I know I can't sell the white mask. Can I sell the pendant? No. So it's like as you throughout the game gain key items as you would. Sorry, I just want to see if this will. He's at 71, 81. Okay, so we'll equip the dragon armor. As you gain the items, which is like, of course you do, then your inventory effectively shrinks, which is insane. I have so many elixirs. Eventually we will run out of money. I guess I'll do one more. Because we had 600,000 gil, and after buying that many elixirs, we're down to 200,000. I think that's a. I mean, can't take the money with us, but still, it seems somewhat. But that got us mostly through. There, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. The 8 of them, and had we had one, we could have just like kept going. So I think that's a good start. And then yeah, for next week, then we have like where we can make a much cleaner run theoretically through. I need to save. Oh, I was trying to cast a spell to save. That feels silly. And then yeah, I think our goal is to get up to the Matsumame, or however I can never say that word, Masamune, is in that dungeon and is obviously like the best weapon in the game. We were on the second screen and bailed before we got through the whole second screen. So there's a whole third screen to get through, then a whole fourth screen that has different outlets, One of which leads basically to nothing but the Masumame, but like then you have to get through that entire screen just to get it. So I think that's our next quest. I'm pretty confident that we can get that handled next week with all of these elixirs because we just have like a very clean path. Because had we had those elixirs this time, we would have been able to do it theoretically. I've not really seen the enemies on those other things. And then after we get that, I think, you know, we're pretty like we can get the ribbon if we want to. We can get some of these other final items if we want to, but we can probably not knowing fully how the final boss battle is going to go. We can it does have one ribbon and it's in that final dungeon, so that's an option too, because that will maybe next week if we get through and that's kind of what Jeff's been doing, playing it like any other game. Yeah. Edo says, already I'm also falling asleep after this week of stress, so I gotta sleep early. We have an amazing stream time zone. Take care and stay awesome. Yeah, man. Thanks so much for hanging out. But yeah, this does have ribbons. There's one in this dungeon. So that maybe becomes a goal too, if we need it, because that'll get us more. You can put the ribbon on your magic caster, and then that ensures she's a little more, or on your hardest hitter, because like most of the things that cast things that ribbons are needed for are very susceptible to physical damage. So maybe you just put the ribbon on Guy/Vince and let him go ham. We're gonna try to do some swaps though, some Yankee swaps, and try to paddle out the last 20 minutes here, and see if we can't get her MP up even higher. Which, I mean, it would do her MP and obviously HP as well. We missed with that one, which is a tough thing with this particular exploit is the more you do it, right, the more effective it gets. Any other spell. So if you cast it a lot, like if you spend a lot of time leveling this way, the spell gets better and better. And there's maybe a use case be casting flops just randomly in the wild. I can't think of what it is though. Maybe if something has a lot of MP, and actually it would, interestingly enough, like it would be helpful to give it to like a, oh, there we go, we did it. Okay. That so if you've not been here before for all this, why that is so effective is it swapped her HP and MP with what we were fighting, which is why her HP immediately went down to 1140, and then her MP went down from the 600 to 0. So what that does is it tells the system like, oh shit, her MP needs to go up, her HP needs to go up. And so it's kind of the So it's like the cleanest, easiest way to like just jack up HP and MP. And there's ways to, so what I did not understand, and someone was trying to coach me on literally the first time I fired up this game and was playing it on stream, is that is the way to like completely break this game, is that spell. And very early on in the game, they give you a character who has that spell. So because they hand you this like 4th temporary character who has like all the spells, right? He has that spell. You can go around and just completely rack up his HP and MP. Now it's as much as like, again, people get on this game for just like how broken and stuff it is. It's like, I do think that's by design, because it's like the counter to that is that the ends in this game are proportional. So it's like you have to pay money based on how much HP and MP they're healing. So you still end up having to do some kind of grindy thing so you can have the cash, so you can jack. Like if you're trying to break the game in that way, you still have to have the money to sleep in the inn to start the process over, or have the ethers. It's really interesting. This game, I like this game a lot. I think there's actually a lot of thought put into the leveling system that is not given credit for. It's just very different. And the way that like people get mad at like Demon Souls when it first came out because the controls were different, but then now every game uses those controls. It's like there is a learning curve, right? There's a little bit of like, how do I remember the first Halo came out, and like having to coach people who didn't want to even touch it because of how the right analog stuff worked. And then now it's like every game is that. But the first time you play something new, it's like there is a little bit of like, oh, why does it work like that? What's happening? That I certainly understand. But it sucks with this game that it's just like not no one, but a lot of people don't get past that. Game's cool. But yeah, that swap spell. So like one of the cooler things you can do in a very like the way people talk about Baldur's Gate 3 and like some of the broken things you can do at the start of that game, right? So in this game, everything is connected, similar to something like Dark Souls, right? Which is amazing. So two things. Like one, once you get that temporary 4th character, you can then go and then you can get him maxed out as possible, just turn him into like a crazy beast, right? Where he can like just handle kind of just like nastier fights, right? You can then go up to where there's a whole section of the game where it's like, hey, you have to sneak through here because the bad guys, the soldiers are here, and they'll like kill you on sight if you actually like run into them. And if you run into them, it's a nasty, terrible fight, right? That you will like insta die, but that the game just lets you do. Now the thing, if you've ever been a DM, the thing about that is you have to be prepared then for whatever the players may or may not do, like leveling that guy up like crazy, and then beating those soldiers, and then taking their swords, which are some of the best swords in the game that you can get at a ridiculously low level. So at that point, if you do that, you then have Mingwu, who's like crazy power leveled, right? Because you've just jacked him up like an insane amount. and then you have one of the best swords of the games that you can give to, you know, either Guy or I forget Jeff's actual name, whatever his name is there. And then at that point, like, you have a pretty formative fighting force, right? That then you can take, and because it's all connected like Dark Souls, you can walk down to this town we're by right now, and then you can just buy the swap spell. And again, you're limited by cash, so you have to have fought enough battles to get that money. But then at that point, you know, you can put the swap spell on everybody, and then go around just jacking up everybody really quickly. And you can pretty much break this game completely in like an afternoon or two, and then you can just breeze through the rest of the game. Which is cool. Like, it's so cool that that exists. And you can then tell that the breaks that they put on that whole thing are the money of just like, hey, people are gonna figure this out, so like we need something to kind of like break them and slow them down from doing that, right? Oops, trying to do so the breaks and the things to try to stop them to do that is the money, because you have to be able to pay for the swap spells for everybody, right? You have to be able to pay to stay in the inn over and over, which gets more expensive the higher their stats go up. And so you still end up having to do something more akin to grinding. But it's so cool that that's in there, and that this game just lets you do stuff like that. I love this game so much. It is a game that is misunderstood. And I will say too that it's like, this game especially is it like, it's pretty generous with cash. Like, we are not Nick says literally the highest praise I've ever heard for this game. It's we're out there. There's dozens of us. Like, I don't this game is like the ugly stepchild. But I think so much of it is just it's very misunderstood. I think there was an expectation. I think had this come out on NES, I don't think people would have the opinions that they have about it, right? I think the fact, like, I would be curious to know what the average, like, Japanese opinion on this game is, because I imagine it's probably closer to mine. But here in the English-speaking world, we didn't get it till so late. And then you had a whole swath of Final Fantasy games that largely could play out the box as expected and didn't have any kind of Dark Souls level learning curve, right? And so people kind of just played this one and went, ah! And were just very confused by it. Didn't work to learn the things. Did we get this before or after 7? After. So it was either... So we get 7, then Tactics, then 8, I think, are the ... And they are selling so insanely well. I might be misremembering the order a little bit, but like the sales of 7 and Tactics are just like so high, and then 8 are so high that it's like kind of like, oh my god, 9's not going to be ready for a while. What do we got? And then they start doing all the re-releases. And I think that's the case. It's what's up, Mike? I guess this didn't come out in North America because they wouldn't have been able to localize it for the SNES came out. Yeah. So by the time So this literally comes out in 88. The first one comes out in 87. The third, I forget, but we don't get the first one until 1990. So by the time we get Final Fantasy 1, like 2 and 3 might already be out, which is crazy to think about. And so they just go and then they start translating to 4 into 2 rather than trying to translate this so that it's coming out, especially because they want people to buy Super Nintendos. And if there's still like games coming out, why am I gonna buy a... Oh, her swap worked. Okay. Like, why is it not working for my spell? Exodus, for someone who's never played Final Fantasy game, where would you say the best place to start, and why is it just Final Fantasy X? This depends if you want turn-based or action combat. I think it's tough. I would say man, maybe I would say 6 would be my answer to that, /3. I think 6 and 9 are like, 10's up there too, but I think 6 and 9 are like peak era Final Fantasy at like the top of them understanding a system and being able to max out what the system can do. And I would say that's more true of 6 than 9. And so with 6, you get one of the best representations of like what Final Fantasy could be. It's neat. Nick said, so I'm reading reception was generally positive. However, people didn't like the leveling system and found it confusing, but they liked the story. That's the thing that levels up crazy in this game from the first one, is the story stuff. It is very ambitious. Characters die, characters come and go. And when you play Final Fantasy 1, your characters don't even talk. Nick says, maybe my experience with this game would be different if I named my characters after people I didn't like, so I'd be encouraged to let them get beat on as much as possible. I mean, maybe. I would like to get rid of the Extol It will not let me. Nick says, yeah, the story in the first one was more like Dragon Quest, talk to NPC. It sets the flag to allow a quest to progress. Yeah, that's basically, there's not much else. There's definitely like, you know, time travel, timey-wimey nonsense that's cool. But your characters talk in this game, which is like pretty basic Final Fantasy stuff. Also, this game has the first Cid, the first Chocobos. I would say that as much as people don't like the leveling system in this game, I hate the spell system in FF1, and I think it's like one of the, if you play that game with like no spellcasters, you have a much better time. That is the craziest improvement game to game, is just the ability in this one to actually cast spells in a way that makes sense. It is huge in the way that spells actually level up, right? You were stuck with spell slots in a D&D way in Final Fantasy 1, and I mean that both in the sense that like you have so many slots that spells you can know and forget, and that's true of this game too, although it's more forgiving than Final Fantasy 1. And then like D&D and Baldur's Gate 3, because it's using D&D structure, right? In Final Fantasy 1, you have, you know, you can cast so many level 6 spells before you sleep in it in again. And there's no MP. So as much as you can be like, oh, I hate Final Fantasy 2 because I hate the leveling system of Final Fantasy 2. They introduce the ability to level up your ability to cast magic in this game. And so there's no leveling system in 1, and yet people call that better. And I don't understand. It's just that game has a better reputation than this one. Sam says, I really enjoyed the keyword system this game has. Makes it feel like you're generally talking to NPCs. Yeah, the keyword system's so cool. It's such a neat idea. What that is, Nyx, if you don't remember, like, as you talk to people, it gives you the opportunity to, like, flag things that people say and then ask other characters about those things. And, like, people will dog on this game for how it doesn't implement that as much as they would expect it to from, like, a modern game's perspective. But the very idea that that's even a thing to do with this game is crazy and neat. And again, they pumped this out a literal year after the first one released. So, it's pretty crazy. I like this game a lot. All right. By the way, if you like hearing me talk about Final Fantasy, oh, that's not the command. I think it's like this. Okay. There's the link to our YouTube channel. It's not the link it just posted, because it auto-posted, but the link before that, where it says check out our edited gameplay videos. Also on that, there's the essay I did on Final Fantasy 1. I put a lot of work into that. I'm working on my Final Fantasy 2 video currently, in which a lot of these things I'm saying will be. That won't release till I finally beat this game, but it's going to be a long video, so I'm starting the process now. Also, that link that posted there, the want to get comics from us, that's Whatnot. We're live there every Saturday night from 8 to 10 p.m. If you want to watch us there and hang out, if you follow that link, they give you $15 free to buy from us or even somebody else, and if you buy from somebody else, they'll give us $5. So consider that link. We have raid messages. They look like this if you aren't subscribed, and this if you are. Thank you guys so much for hanging out on this Final Fantasy journey. I think obviously lots of things can happen, but I think next week we get Monsunume, because we could have gotten it this week had we had the ability, right, to get up there. And so I think next week we get that in Vale. And then I think the week after, we're wrapping this thing up, which is cool. And then, at worst, I think we're a week out from that. But like we're in the end game now. Here's thanks for the stream. Thanks for hanging out, man. Miss you all. I miss the days when I was just lived on Twitch every day. That was a fun life. Okay, we're gonna go bug Cap because I love him and don't see him enough these days either. So we're gonna head over that way. Be honest, be kind, be useful, and live a good fucking life. We will see you all tomorrow, possibly for Hollow Knight. Like I said, sleep's been so wild this week. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to tomorrow and Selena's like, actually. But that's the plan. All right. Love you all. Bye.